Hey guys, it was a long absence, but it was long overdue. We're here talking about the latest in junior college and NCAA Division 1, 2, and 3 basketball. But for this week, I'm going to actually save it a little bit for both junior college and Division 1 basketball this week. We're going to start with some key matchups, key traits to all the matchups in the Division 1, and then we'll jumpstart our journey into the NJCAA. My corrections, I'm a little bit tired today, but actually tonight as we are recording. But here is another episode of Cinderella Sleepers here on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. This is your host, Braydyn Bear-Lents, and we welcome you once again to the podcast. If you would like to subscribe to our newsletter, you can subscribe to our newsletter by just simply going to substack.com. That is substack.com, and you can become a free subscriber to the Cinderella Slippers newsletter, which is published every Tuesday and Thursday if there is no school. Keep in mind, if there is no school, I am usually not publishing. But either way, we can also follow us on LinkedIn as well. But either way, let's get started with the podcast.
And they are stunned. Dribble drive kick. 10 seconds to go. Here comes the play. Whitman at the free throw line. Jumper. They are riding a Cinderella wave. 67, 64, 4 seconds left. You don't like the foul, remember. Ivy for the tie. Off the rim, and it's over. This miracle run continues for Steve. You believe it? For just the second time ever, a 16 beats a 1.
And welcome, everyone. It's been a long time coming, baby. Play that song by Taylor Swift real quick. I want to hear that real quick. Yep, it's been a long time coming, guys. I know that I missed out on 3 long weeks, had finals week, and let me tell you, it's rest assured that whatever situation is going to be happening right now is in the hands of 2 different people. For me, it's the professor and Jesus. I believe and wholeheartedly that I will be able to continue and then graduate from my college here pretty soon. This is my last year if all goes well. For context, last year I actually was dismissed from the University of Indiana, and I actually spent about a semester over at Ivy Tech, and now since I've been coming back here to IU once again for 2.0 of this amazing revival story, I feel like Tommy DeVito every single time I am feeling like this team is down or this team's under pressure. I felt like I really put in the stops and I really put in the effort to really make a drive going here, like it's freaking John Elway back in 1987. Let me tell you about that. But it's been a long road to get to this point now, and all it is in the hands of the judge and a GPA of 2.17, which as of right now, as I'm speaking, it's about a 1.9 if you consider it on transcript, but it's right now after doing the calculations a 2.94. Actually, no, 2.49. Sorry to get that confused. It's 2.49. That's what I'm saying. It's the day of finals, like got them all done, and now I'm recording this and I'm a little bit tired while doing it. I feel like to God I've put a lot of effort into this semester. So at least though, for the time being, we're good. For the time being, we are really good right now, but very positive about the outlook of this situation. And I believe full-heartedly that I will be able to graduate and put on the crimson cap and gown at the end of this upcoming semester. So it's all up to God. But boy, when we talked about having it all up to God, God really showed us like big time upsets in college basketball. Washington, late in the night on Saturday, beating Gonzaga. Freaking Gonzaga. And then Utah beating BYU. And then you also had Marquette lose to Wisconsin about 2 weeks ago. I forgot to cover that. I actually was going to record an episode for that, but then I didn't. And then Alabama nearly getting the upset on Purdue. You had one of the worst freaking matchups I have seen this year. Chicago State completely trampling Northwestern 75-73 in a close, bitter matchup. And then, of course, at Florida Atlantic got upset. Duke got upset. It's been crazy in men's basketball right now. It's been nuts. And of course, I think the biggest one of them all that I thought was going to be one of, if not the biggest upsets ever, was if Southern Indiana beat Duke. If Southern Indiana had beat Duke, and yeah, on the newsletter, we're going to talk about Connor Hickman. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. This is just nuts. Upsets. And a non-conference schedule 2 weeks ago, goodness. It was amazing. Just amazing buzzer beater after amazing buzzer beater. And upset after upset. And as I said, it's been nuts. It's been nothing but craziness. And then going into next week, as we are entering into what is actually the first full term semester of college basketball, and then we don't see the midway point until about January. So we're going to actually enjoy a lot of men's basketball this winter's break. Women's basketball too. It's been nuts there as well. Goodness God. I mean, LSU, their whole thing that's going on over there. It's just one player now having to be dismissed from the team. Another one in Angel Reese. We heard about all the drama and all the corruption that's been going on with the LSU squad. Kim Mulkey saying nothing, but this whole situation there. But in terms of men's basketball, it's been craziness. But yeah, some of the matchups, be honest to God, I am looking forward to are, of course, tomorrow night with UConn and Gonzaga. I mean, UConn, they're looking good out of the gate. They beat Indiana, probably single-handedly. Could have been a way bigger score, like the Auburn game. But I'm just saying UConn really put out their stops against us, and they're not proven to me to win a national championship, but they're up there. They're up there to probably make a Final Four, but again, I can't predict anything because the tournament bracket is it's as I said, we won't even get a bracketology, which is my big thing, until about February. And if I had to project it right now, I'd probably say, yeah, UConn could make the Final Four. It's one of this UConn team is stoked and static. They are really strong, and their big men can basically defend us through all stops and hit threes on the picket pop. If that all rhymed, and I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm actually not that tired, but I am sorry. But yeah, it's just crazy upsets and crazy momentum shifts. I think this game has the opportunity to be an upset game. I mean, look, you're in Gonzaga land, basically. You are in the house of Mark Few. And for you to face UConn and maybe get a higher ranking out of this would be berserk, to me. And then, of course, this Saturday, as I mentioned, the last 3 weeks have been amazing. One thing I also found amazing, speaking of teams, is Purdue. They lost. Purdue's freaking team lost to, I believe it was like some kind of mid-conference opponent. I mean, hey, Brandon, we need you to look that up. Oh, yeah, and then they're also having a big matchup like we are here at IU. But they're playing Arizona. But this freaking team, Purdue. Oh, they lost to Northwestern. I knew who it was now. I didn't even have to look it up. They lost to Northwestern. And, of course, they not only lost to Northwestern, I thought they lost to someone else. Brandon, could you please pull that up real quick? I thought they lost to someone else. It doesn't look like they have. I mean, I've been paying attention throughout the season. But, yeah, they just lost to Northwestern, who in turn lost to Chicago freaking State. Now, I covered one of their volleyball games years ago. This team sucks. Chicago State sucks. This team is 5-9, and they beat Northwestern last night. And what a close, hard-fought game. But to lose to a non-conference opponent that's bad, that may, who knows if they're going to be in the tournament or not. But Purdue has a very strong strength of schedule compared to Northwestern. As I said about Purdue, I got sidetracked with Northwestern, but Purdue is very good ball club. But when they're faced against obstacles and challenges against teams that they shouldn't be losing to, it's a whirlwind of trouble. They are like their football team. Their football team, a good year can perform, can play ball, can rebound, can score touchdowns. But if they're having a bad year, or usually they have a good year and then a bad bowl game where they're losing like 40-0 over Iowa State or something like that, a team they shouldn't be losing to, then it wouldn't be possible for us to assume, hey, Purdue is a really good team. But so far, best regular season team. Out of all the teams I've watched this year, when they played against Alabama, Zach Edey scored 36. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, Purdue is so good. But I hate saying that as a Hoosier. They are so good. So good. And it's more Zach Edey. He's a big man. We all knew he'd be good. We all knew he should have gone to the NBA draft. He's going to regret it when we play them. But it's a humongous jump shot if they can beat Arizona, the number one team in the country. And what about number ones? Kansas fell to their number one spot. Now they're playing Indiana this weekend, 12:30 on CBS. That's going to be, if you're an IU fan like me, it's a game to watch. Just see. If we're going to airball 20 times, if we're playing against a team like Michigan, who we should beat anyway, but then we're losing to conference opponents like we did we're losing the top-ranked opponents like we did last year. We couldn't even make it out of the tournament against the 9th seed in Miami. And then we couldn't even make it out last year against Northwestern once. We couldn't even make it out of the rut the second time. And then Jackson Davis has to promise to the Hoosier faithful that he's bringing another title back here. And then we don't. And we're losing big to Miami. And now, as I said, the jump shots are really missing, are just really scaring me with this team. They're really scaring me. Just every shot we make misses. So I'm hoping Mike Woodson and that entire coaching crew and the student managers can be a key contributor to making the shooting a part of our game again. It's like I'm watching this team and I'm watching this team. It's like the one team in 2018. We play against non-conference or unranked teams that were really, really good. Even unranked conference opponents. We beat Michigan with... We could have lost that game, but we won it. We won that game fair and square against, by then was a 4-4 team. But we ended up winning that one close. And now we're playing against Hunter Dickinson, which even last year when Jackson Davis could have returned to be a 5th year or 6th year senior, this would have been the matchup I circled on my calendar. It could have been the matchup I circled on the spot right there on December 16th. That's a matchup. That is a matchup. But now since finals is going on, where are the kids going to be? The student section may be non-existent. It's just going to be a lot of townies, and they actually get the opportunity for the first time to feel represented at Assembly Hall. It'll be packed. I'm just going to say it right now. It will be packed, but the student section won't be there. And I pray they are, though. I really do pray they are. But yeah, hopefully the student athletic board can do something about this. But man, this matchup against Kansas, Hunter Dickinson is really good. We all knew he would be. We all knew he would be good. We all knew that team was going to be solid. We all knew they were going to play for a national championship even if Duke or UConn doesn't. This Kansas team is proven enough to really go places. And with Indiana missing jump shots and three-pointers and having to put Anthony Leal on the line for absolutely nothing to only make him just scoot and skirt out of the way so the other team can hit a layup. It's pretty blasphemous to me that you would bench some guy who played on our high school team for 4 years, and we wasted the 4 years out of him at IU, not South, Bloomington South. They used him more because he was something, but now he's nothing. And I'm just saying it's terrible to see him just look stand still against like a stick in front of these opposing teams. It's nuts. It really is crazy to see Leal just stand there. But if Indiana, look at the date. We just passed on the 12-year anniversary of the Watch Shot. There will probably be no students storming the floor. There will probably be even kids. If we had kids storming the floor like 5, 6 years old, that'd be hilarious. But the townies are in force, and I am going to say it. I have Kansas winning that game in terms of the pick'ems that I should be doing at the end of every episode. But unfortunately, I do like Purdue against Arizona, and I do like Kansas against Indiana. My brain says Kansas, but my heart says Indiana, and I am a Hoosier through and through. Speaking now to anyone that's listening, I'm willing and able to come back as long as I'm able to pass these classes. But yeah, Purdue is playing Arizona. I said that. We're going to pick Purdue. Kansas and or Kentucky and North Carolina. Big game too. North Carolina looks good. For the first time in less than a year. Last year they lost their number 1 ranking and had a terrible season. And I'm just saying, Kentucky, I haven't seen much Kentucky this year. I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen much Kentucky. But I'm going to probably say North Carolina for that one as well. And then another game, I think most if not all of these games are going to be on the slate on Saturday, except for the Arizona-Purdue game and the Indiana-Kansas game are going to actually be good ones. Are actually going to be good ones. I mean, most of are actually going to be bullets, but these 2 games are going to be good ones. But another upset I can smell is LaSalle at Miami. It's going to be LaSalle's good. I think Patino's at St. John's, but LaSalle looks strong enough in my eyes with the record that they have. And not only that, but the overall seeding. It would be really nice to see them play. And then, of course, tip of the cap to the big win yesterday for UNLV. No one is talking about this. I wanted to close Division I off by saying that, but no, I got North Carolina. But for UNLV, goodness, this is going to be kind of emotional. We had family that lived out in Vegas for years, or not really family, but family friends. And The shooting was really tragic, really just unspeakable. And for they upset Creighton. Angels were above for that game last night. Creighton was off, but boy, UNLV won. And not only that, but their students won, and their fans won, and their team won. It's amazing to see that. And I'm really fortunate to understand what it's like to be in that Vegas area and deal with that. One of my closest mentors at Companion Academy had a family member actually get shot in the Vegas shootings in 2017, and it was very tragic. For her end, she was okay. She luckily had some minor bruises, but it would have been a whole lot worse. But UNLV played with heart last night, and they would really be the greatest Cinderella story. Kind of like North Carolina's football team. They're a really good Cinderella story too. Drake May and all the guys over there dealt with 2 shootings that year. Just mass chaos over at North Carolina. But also mass chaos at UNLV. They were ready, and the police did a really good job in that too. But yeah, most if not all of these matchups, and yeah, my condolences also go to the families of those victims at Vegas as well. Forgot to mention that. I didn't mean to cut anything off on that. I'm just kind of rambling. But then we got Illinois and Colgate. They're going to be playing on Sunday. And then Colorado State and California State University Pueblo is going to play against the 17th ranked Rams. In terms of the rest of the Saturday games, Texas A&M, upset alert, going to play Houston. James Madison, upset alert, is going to play Hampton at 2 p.m. And then Clemson's going to play Memphis at 3. Florida Atlantic, who are looking really good right now, playing St. Bonaventure. I just mentioned Arizona and Purdue. Northwestern and DePaul. Northeastern will play Virginia. Alabama will play Creighton. Green Bay will play Oklahoma in terms of ranked matchups. And Georgia State will play against BYU, along with NC State playing Tennessee. And then the next few ranked matchups are going to be on Tuesday. So, really exciting stuff going on right now. And I believe that the rest of the season in terms of top 25 games is also going to look really extensive when it comes down to the rest of the other unranked teams that actually, no one has talked about. So, speaking of unranked teams, Georgetown is another team that is really off the deep end right now. They faced probably one of their worst losses 2 weeks ago. And boy, let me tell you, it's very hard to be a Georgetown fan right now. They're playing Notre Dame on Saturday. And I'm just saying that this team, Georgetown, they're without Patrick Ewing. What else do they need? What else is this offense going to see? Because this year's been rough for them. It's been rough for Ohio State as well. They are the worst team in the Big Ten right now. They're just offense is terrible. Their defense is terrible. And, of course, being a Buckeyes fan, this UCLA game on Saturday is going to be an absolute embarrassment. I think UCLA is going to crush Ohio State. This Ohio State team, just shooting-wise, is terrible. They're just terrible. And I don't think that they are anywhere near impressive than anyone would think they are, because just how they're playing. They played against Penn State last Saturday, and I watched a little bit of that game. Of course, being the busy person that I was, studying for finals and helping my family, I thought to myself, oh my God, this team's shooting is atrocious. I thought to myself, geez, this is bad. But Ohio State and Georgetown are 2 very disappointing teams so far. And it goes without saying that the trash is usually collected for teams like that. And also, Howard has also not been that impressive recently either. I thought I would see more out of them. They're playing one of the latest games on Saturday at midnight. Midnight for Howard and Jackson State, and the game is at midnight. And that game is going to be on ESPNU. It's going to be, jeez, I cannot imagine playing that late. But, of course, time has to consist of TV schedules and marketing, just like we saw with Florida State. Don't even get me started about that. I think I already talked about this, but everybody around the college basketball circle has been talking all about the Florida State being ranked number 5. And I will quickly say it, and then we'll have to in the next part, which I am actually going to probably post tomorrow for those of you willing to hear the first Thursday, Friday edition of the Cinderella Slippers podcast. This was mainly about Division 1. Dude, this Florida State thing is atrocious. I even talked about it on TikTok because the playoff system has been terrible for the last 10 years. And I know this is very unrelated to college basketball, but it goes without saying that this has been the worst season for, actually the worst 10-year run of the committee, and this was the icing on the cake of how terrible they are. It was not good, it was not fine, it was not fresh, and these were not the 4 best teams. I mean, we'll say this, Washington, Texas, and Michigan were 3 of the best teams, but Bama putting them up there still gets me. Oh, and I wanted to mention one more thing. Have you been watching Bradley basketball this year? I'm about to mention Connor Hickman got hurt in that game against Indiana State. Indiana State, gosh, they are so good on defense. They are making a tournament run right now. And you're not seeing it. And no one's ever talking about it. They got this big dude with the tattoo. It is incredible to see those two teams play. Mid conferences in the Midwest. Connor Hickman got injured in that game, and Indiana State rode that trajectory to victory. And I'm going to say it, Davidson is strong, but without Connor Hickman, who's without doubt the best team, he was one of the best players in high school, but he also was a great team player, great team role model. Good Lord, that team was great. Seeing them play, seeing Indiana State run up and down the floor against a Bradley team that's so good on offense, but really struggles on defense. They are a rebound team. But without Connor Hickman, they are screwed. And they played against an Indiana State team who is going to make big run in their conference championship this year. So all's on the line this year with Indiana State and Bradley, because I want to see more matchups from them. I want to see more from them. And they are just like, they are really, 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 really good right now. And I will say the best overall men's basketball team, as we're sitting here talking right now, that's in that Atlantic is probably Indiana State. They are, as I said, they are really showing that Indiana State Sycamore pride once again that hasn't even been felt in years, not decades, not even decades. And we're not talking this team's not going to be like the Larry Bird team. The Larry Bird team in 79 is the GOAT of all Indiana State basketball teams and always will be. But this team is looking good. They're looking like they're fun to watch. They're really fun to watch. Clemson has also been fun to watch too. So, as I said, but the big impressive thing is how Davidson can run the floor. It's impressive. But out of all the matchups I've seen, that to me is the most eventful. All right, so we will be right back with the Cinderella Slippers podcast, talking specifically about NJCAA sports and talking specifically about NJCAA basketball and projections for this season and how it's going so far. We want to hear what's going on in the NJCAA world, and then next week we're going to get into Division II basketball, Division I once again with the summary, and then Division III as well. So hopefully I'm making my promises. If they are unclear or I do actually not mention them and I mention them again and don't ever do them, please let me know. There's some weeks I'm really busy and I really would like to hear from all of you if I'm ever missing something in any of the episodes. So let me know. Make sure to also, again, comment on the Substack or read our newsletters on Substack every Tuesday and Thursday if there's no school. And we'll also be on LinkedIn. So if I don't have any actual published emails that you actually do get from Substack, you can also subscribe to LinkedIn and subscribe to that newsletter on there, and you can read all the articles you want on there, limited. They're actually very more free than they are over at Substack because they have a expiration on all of them. So for a limited time, you can read those articles on there. As for us, we hope to crank out more content since now it's winter break and we don't know what the unforeseen future looks like. But to me, I hope it looks more bright than it does ugly. But yeah, that does it for the Cinderella Slippers Podcast Part 1. Part 2 is going to be coming out tomorrow in the first Thursday and Friday edition of the Cinderella Slippers Podcast. We will be right back. Hit that Italian music, and God, I love Tommy DeVito. So hit me some of that Tommy DeVito, will ya?
Sarà perché ti amo, un'emozione che cresce piano piano, stringimi forte, stammi più vicino, se ci sto bene.